Welcome to How to Bounce a Ball in Rough Animator. New project, call this one Ball. 12 frames per second is okay. And the brush is selected, color is black, perfect, and the brush size about 5. We'll draw the ball that will be bounced. There's the ball, but I need something to bounce on. Let's give it a ground. There's the ground. Amazing. Before we get started, it's always good to plan where your animation is going to go. So for this one, the ball's only going to bounce up and down. So let's get a lighter color, stay on the background, and with the spacing of the ball, the spacing is the distance between each drawing. The slower the ball goes, the closer the spacing, the faster it goes, the further the spacing. So when it's at the top of its arc, boing, it's going to be slower up here, so the spacing at the top of the arc, where the ball is now, it's going to be a lot closer together. When it goes to the bottom, it's going to be further apart. So first ball drawings here, and further down, a bit further down, even further than that, so far down, and then it hits the ground, back up again. So that's roughly planning out the animation. So to draw a ball in the next frame, we need to go to the animation layer, and to add a new animation frame, you go to this little arrow plus, select that, and you're ready to draw. You notice there's a red circle here. That's from the onion skinning. That's very helpful to see where your drawings are before and after your current drawing. So now there's no drawing here. Go back to the black color and let's start drawing this ball. And there's the next frame. Let's go a bit further down. So on. Now it's going to stretch a little bit. And now it's probably at its full stretch, and then splat on the bottom. Let's go back up. There it is. I'm slightly going off the path, but that's fine because the next part will make it even better. But let's finish this first, and there you go. So here's a straight ahead animation. It would have been a lot rough. I probably would have ended up over here because I didn't know where the path was going, but now I know where the path is going. It's a bit neater, but to make it even neater than that, we're going to use the lasso tool and copy and paste every ball and then add a bit of squash and stretch after. So for now, let's get rid of this like such. Go to the first drawing, and let's start with animating this way. This way is really good for inanimate objects like this ball or anything that is inanimate. So let's make this ball look pretty. Let's go to the color. We're going to make it red, and we fill it in red. Amazing. Now let's give it a shadow. Just give it a bit of depth, make it a little bit more interesting. So go to a darker color. Here is your current color, and here's your next selected color. You can see how that changes. That's what we want for the shadow. And make sure your brush is a lot bigger, it's about 20 odd. And there's your shadow. And with every shadow comes a great highlight. So let's go for a nice bright color. And in the top corner, put a little sparkle, so it gives it a bit of depth. Now it's an interesting looking ball, it's about to be animated. And to do the animation and copying and pasting, use the lasso tool, you select the ball and you copy. Wherever you copy something from, it's always going to copy it back in the exact same location, so this is very helpful. You can copy here, go a few frames ahead and copy, and it will still be in the same place. Really good. So now let's start animating this fella. So it's copied, we go to the next frame, we shall paste and bring it down a touch. Well, there are a few ways to move it. You can move it with your pen, or you can move it very accurately in these translates options to the left hand side and this tool option. But for now, for speed, we're just going to move it with a pen. So there's that frame. Just go forward a frame, paste, go a bit further down. Next frame, paste, a bit further down. Next frame, paste, even further down. Next frame, paste. It's probably going to be all stretchy here. And the next frame, where it hits the ground, kadoosh, and now it goes back up you go, oops, paste, there, slightly going off my path, but we can fix that in the next pass. There, paste, and there's your bouncing ball. We can adjust the timing now once we got a rough pass, but to make this more interesting, let's do some squash and stretch, give it a bit more appeal, and to do that, where it's at its fastest it'll be stretch, and when it hits the ground it'll be squished. Yeah, squash and stretch. So let's find the fastest frame. It's probably this one here on its way down. Yeah, it's got a lasso tool, select the ball, and you scale it in, and let's stretch that fella. Make it touch the bottom. Go to the frame before, it's going to have a little bit of stretch. And maybe a touch on this one, not much. When it hits the ground, that should be nice and squished. You can rotate these as well, but we don't need to rotate for this project. So for now, let's go and see what it looks like. There you go, you have a bit of squash and stretch there, but it needs to finish off the stretching as it comes back up. Let's have you here, a little bit of stretch because it's build up of energy. The next one's going to be the super stretch fella. Let's get him nice and skadushed. Start bringing it over because it left its path on the way up. Bring you over a touch. Little bit of squash and stretch on you. Close to that frame. Close to that frame. So there's your bouncing ball with some squash and stretch. That's it for now for this project. Oh, before we finish off, go back to your background layer. So get rid of these fellas. Go back to paintbrush, to black line, cover up that. And now you have, oh, turn this on. Oh, I raised the ball at the top. That's fine. And paste. I haven't copied anything new, so I just remember the last ball. And there you go. That's your bouncing ball with some squash and stretch. If there's anything else you'd like to learn or know about on this software, I'm still learning lots about it. It's quite fun to do this. So if you have any questions or you want to see me do something else, put something in the comments below and I'll do it for you. Thanks for watching, share it with your friends and have fun, and I hope you learn heaps, and thank you. Goodbye.